How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Holy God. Whew. That was, I've been doing this for a long time. I say this all the time, that this is my 21st season of doing IU football. And that was an incredible game. 812-393-2600 is the number. I'm going to need a little time. Like I think everybody needs a little bit of time to figure out what the hell we just watched. That was incredible. Indiana up 20-17. They go down 24-20. They come back and go up 27-24 with maybe the best catch I've ever seen by an IU player. And go into Happy Valley, beat a Penn State team that has now lost 6 straight, but I don't want to hear about the losing 6 straight and the losing streak and all that. Penn State is still damn talented. They were the number 2 team in the country earlier this year for a reason. And Indiana went to Happy Valley and got the job done. 812-393-2600 is the number. Great Google Moogle. We have our first caller, and I'm thrilled, caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Eric from Indianapolis.
Eric from Indianapolis, how are you doing?
I'm doing way better now. I'm doing way better now. But you know what? I'll tell you what. A lot of people will probably look down on this victory as, the way Ohio State beat them last week. But people forget this team was ranked number 2 in the preseason poll.
Yep.
And they had on a 5-game losing streak. And a few of those games they were in at, like right at the end. They fired their coach, and they are trying their best to salvage what part of the season they can. So, but they have 5-star players on that team. They don't have. It's not like, we playing some chumps. And then we playing in Happy Valley, a place that we have never won.
Yep.
And then they get there and they play well. They play well in spurts of the game, but Penn State is a good football team. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see them win out and get to the Blue Bonnet Bowl or something, but they are a pretty decent football team. And, but I'm really proud of IU. I'm really proud of IU, and I had a really good feeling on that last drive. I had a really good feeling because I said, well, he hadn't really played lights out today like he normally had, but he played like a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
He played when it's time. And that Cooper, I know his dad and, from Lawrence North, I know them really, really well. And but if he's not going to be playing on Sundays in the near future, I would be surprised because they really gutted that win out. They played well. Fisher played well on the defensive end. They really did what they needed to do to win the game. Now, this was, to me, was a trap game.
Sure.
This was a trap game for them going home next week and then finishing off at Purdue to get into the Big Ten title game. And I kind of thought maybe one of the other games would be a trap game like Oregon or Maryland. I kind of thought those 2 games would be like little trap games. And they persevered and won those games. And they persevered today and won. And I'm proud of my Hoosiers. And go IU.
Eric, let's break down a couple of things that you just talked about right there. The fact that, you go to Penn State and, yeah, they've lost 5 straight. A couple of those games, one of them was to Oregon. A couple of them were by 1 point. You fire a coach. You go through all of that. Like you said, that is still a team with an incredible amount of talent on it. 5-star guys, tradition, 90,000 people in the stands, all of that kind of thing. You still have to go there and beat that team. And that to me was why, it's a 2-touchdown favorite and all this kind of stuff. Man, you still have to go to Penn State and beat Penn State if you're going to do it. And it's the number 2 team in the country. And then you talk about Penn State and what they were sitting at, that they're 3-5. These kids, they're playing there Because now, what do you have left to play for? To not be the first team to lose to IU at Penn State, if you are the Nittany Lions, get to a bowl, because that's why you go to Penn State, is to play in the postseason every year. So they were going to have everything that they needed to do to motivate themselves. I know what we saw the past couple of weeks. This was different because it was the number 2 team in the country, and we used to be the number 2 team in the country. And damn it, we're going to beat the number 2 team in the country. And they did everything they could, except for win the ball game, because Indiana made the plays down the stretch when they needed to, with guys that, quite honestly, aren't nearly as talented on paper, but they're well coached. And Omar Cooper is just a special receiver. So what you had to say there, I could not possibly agree with you more on all of those counts.
All right, thank you. And I appreciate you. And I love the show. I listen to it every week. Every time I get to it, I be put on hold a lot. And I'll be like, well, I can't do that. And sometimes I work on Saturday. So it's hard for me to kind of like call in. So I finally got a chance to call in. And I want to thank you for a really good job that you do following the basketball program and the football program. And, so just go IU, and I'm happy. I'm going to have me a Jim Beam Coke now.
Yeah, there's some bourbon in my future too, Eric. And thank you so much for the call.
Yeah. All right. You have a good day, okay?
Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. 27-24 is your final. I don't think I even mentioned that. I have been, we came on the air, and it was right away. It's like, wow, take a second to kind of figure out what we just saw. But we got another call on the line. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Yeah, hey, this is Seth from Whitley County, Northeast Indiana. How you doing, Ken?
Hey, Seth, how you doing?
I'm doing really well after that game. Holy cow. Two questions I have for you up front. One, you mentioned bourbon. Would be interested in hearing your favorite selection.
Four Roses single barrel.
Two, say it again.
Four Roses single barrel.
Okay. Yep. All right. That is good stuff. Secondly, is the Heisman in the bag for Mendoza?
I mean, in the bag, we'll see. I think it very well could come down to that Ohio State, potential IU-Ohio State game in the Big Ten Championship. But when you're talking about signature moments in a college year, that throw and, the incredible catch by Cooper, he deserves a ton of credit for it, but that drive and being able to do what he did on that drive for Mendoza goes a long way towards opening the eyes of any Heisman Trophy voters that are second-guessing things. So this is a huge part of that resume, to say the least, because he didn't have an amazing game, but he still completed 19 of 30 passes, 218 yards, threw a touchdown, ran for, 6 times for 20 yards and a touchdown. But that throw is a signature moment, so that very well could be part of the equation there.
Yeah. Are you going to do a call in after Marquette tomorrow?
Yes, I am, sir. Yep.
Okay. And then I'll leave you with this last question and hang up to listen. You got to take one basketball player and put him on the football team, and one football player and put him on the basketball team. Let me hear your thoughts, and I'll hang up.
Now, are you talking about this year's basketball team?
This year, yes,
Sam Alexis would be my guy. I put him at tight end. And then going the other direction, probably be Omar Cooper, to be quite honest with you. So,
fair enough. All right, man. You're the man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, probably.
Appreciate it. Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number for what was one hell of a football game. Just absolutely incredible outing by Indiana to knock off Penn State. And, I could tell you this. That is one of those games that old IU, I feel like they wouldn't have done what they just did. And the grit and the toughness that they showed is absolutely incredible. Let's go over a couple of the numbers here on that. You want to talk about an even game, folks. Indiana, 326 total yards. Penn State, 336. Penn State threw for 219 yards. Indiana threw for 218. Penn State rushed for 117 yards. IU rushed for 108. Both teams had 5 penalties. 19 first downs for IU, 17 first downs for Penn State. Penn State ran 64 plays. IU ran 62. They both averaged 5.3 yards a play. And, of course, it comes down to a touchdown and a Hail Mary and an effort there. Hell, obviously with the numbers, Mendoza, 19 of 30, 218. Grunkemeyer, 22 of 31 for 219. Just absolutely incredible what kind of symmetry there. And again, I know people are going to be like, well, Penn State was 3-5 and they've lost to Northwestern, UCLA, and all of that. Hey, you know what? Penn State at home is still going to be difficult to beat, and Indiana did it in an incredible way. Was up 20-7, but even up 20-7, on the road in the Big Ten that you have that challenge coming up ahead of you. A couple of the comments here on the stream. The Steinman clan, great win. Rage Against the World, great name, by the way. What a win. Just absolutely incredible. Wendy Merriweather, never daunted. Really? I don't know if that's true. Jason J says, incredible victory, catch of the year. Still think Coach Sig should have kicked the ball deep instead of the squib in the last kickoff. I completely agree with you with that. No, yeah, I understand that the ball had been kicked out of bounds previously, but you did the same thing with the squib. I don't know. I just go ahead and I boot that thing out of the back of the end zone and be along. Chris Perkins says, that's two good defenses that IU has struggled against. What do they need to do to improve on offensively to win against Ohio State? Well, step one, all these games that they're playing with a couple of tough defenses, Indiana still scored 27 points in one of them and 20 in the other. So they struggled, but still scored 27 points, which is plenty of points. No, they didn't put up 50, but it's still good. They did struggle, but at least their defense played at that same level. And then what do you need to do to get to improve on offensively to win against Ohio State? It's about the lines. The offensive line in particular. I felt Penn State's speed off the snap was a problem for IU all day. That it's just that first step, that explosiveness, which is just pure talent right there. One thing that I kept waiting for that never happened was a screen pass or two, just to take a little bit of the steam out of Penn State's pass rush. That, to me, is something that I thought that the Hoosiers would dial up at some point. Just have a little screen, let them come after Mendoza, and then drop it off. But Penn State does have great speed along the way because they're Penn State. They were the number 2 team in the country. And it's not like it was a fluke number 2 team, like Penn State just sucked. They've sucked over the past 5 weeks, but there's still a ton of talent and a ton of pride. And so they've been through a lot. And to be able to get to this point is really important to try to salvage a season by knocking off the number 2 team. And this is a crusher. It's an absolute crusher. Andrew Smith says line play has to improve significantly. I don't disagree with that. Especially against the elite teams. It's great that you could run for 367 against Maryland. Teams with elite talent. Let me put it that way. And one thing, the Penn State coach deserves a lot of credit because of the fact that a lot of times in this situation, you could have players with that kind of talent level just start to play for themselves to where they're worried about putting tape on so that their next stop or going to the next level, whatever it's going to be, they worry about their tape. And instead, that isn't where this Penn State team was today. They played with a lot of pride, and I give them a lot of credit for that. 812-393-2600 is the number. Please give us a call. Let us know what your thoughts are on this game, this absolutely incredible game, and the fact that Penn State has now lost a couple of real deep heartbreakers to Indiana is really that's tough. That's really tough. You have the Penix stretch back in 2020, and then you have this. Those are 2 real big games that are just, it's amazing, just absolutely amazing. For Indiana to pull out those 2 wins against Penn State, against the same team, That is really, really difficult. A couple of other numbers, just running through this. Roman Hemby, 12 carries for 55 yards. Kalon Black, 12 carries for 32 yards. Those were tough yards, but he got him when he needed him. Kobe Martin, 1 carry for 1 yard. It was an important 1 yard because it picked up a first down. Fernando Mendoza, 6 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. Charlie Becker, I'm quite sure everybody had him down for 7 catches and a $118. Becker, okay, let's talk about something that we haven't even talked about yet, that I haven't brought up, is the fact that Indiana just beat Penn State on the road without Elijah Surratt, who is their best receiver. And Charlie Becker was ready to step up and stepped up in a huge way when his name was called. 812-393-2600 is the number. We got another caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hi, Kenneth, Kevin from Midland, Michigan.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing today?
We've talked before. Good. The last drive, we threw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
We didn't dink and dunk it, and we had people open. Some great catches, but we had people open downfield, which was last week. Ohio State threw the ball downfield, and Purdue and Penn State couldn't cover it.
Right.
And I thought, from an offensive standpoint, I thought Shanahan called it very conservative. It's almost like we got ahead by 13, and we closed the envelope. And defensively, I could not figure this out. Why in the world did Haynes continue to think he could get there with 4 people all day long? Just a couple of times, and that he got people there. A very, very conservative defensive. I got to believe Signetti's going to be talking about on the flight home. I would not want to be Haynes because and I know that's not how we played all year long. And we went, I think our coordinators got tight, to be honest with you. I think they got tight. I think they got too conservative, and it played right in, and it made the talent that Penn State had, made them better, because what did Penn State do? They blitzed us all day long.
Right.
And took us out. We did not do that, and we've been doing that all year long. So I don't know what transpired with the 2 coordinators, but I don't know if I'd want to be them either the flight home or meetings tomorrow morning, because Signetti's not going to put up with that.
Let's start
I don't know what your
let's start offensively.
I don't know what your thoughts were.
Offensively, one of the things that I think is important is Penn State was bringing a lot of pressure. And so when you bring a lot of pressure, if you're going to go down the field, you need time to be able to go down the field. And it seemed like Mendoza at times got a little bit of happy feet, especially after he got hit a couple of times, just in terms of looking at the line instead of looking more downfield. And not every play, but that was something. So that could have been part of it, just a reaction to the pressure that they were getting. And then on the other side of the ball, I agree that I thought that you could dial up a little bit more pressure but again, it could have been a situation where Brian Haynes was looking at trying to the speed and the talent of Penn State's receivers. He wanted to make sure it had as many guys back there as possible, and our defensive line has done a pretty good job all season. But like you said, as the game was going on, there wasn't enough pressure that was being put on him. So I was a little surprised because when they did dial up the pressure, I thought it changed what Penn State did.
Well, but again, remember that he's a freshman quarterback, his 3rd game starting.
Yeah.
And when we did get him out of the pocket, he had problems throwing the ball.
Yeah.
He missed people. But I also would tell you this. I don't disagree with you what you're saying about Mendoza. But when he had time, he had Cooper open. They showed the route on an in-out cut where he was right in the seam wide open for a good 30, 35-yard pass, and Mendoza missed him, and he had time. But the other thing that is this, we did not throw the ball short over the middle of the field either.
No.
That hardly at all.
Yeah.
And that we've done that all year long. We didn't. Did we throw any slant routes for our wide receivers? And we didn't have Surratt. I agree with you. But Cooper's a good one. Cooper is good. Becker's proven to be a really good one.
Absolutely.
We've got good tight ends. EJ is a good one. I mean, we're not sure on their side of the ball, their receivers, they don't have receivers that can separate from anybody. And our secondary is really good. Period.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm going back to. I just don't think we had to play scared against their receivers. They haven't separated from anybody all year long, no matter who they played. UCLA, they couldn't do anything. Northwestern, they couldn't do anything. So I just think, I don't know what happened. I wonder if Haynes got a little bit tight being, it's Penn State, it's at Penn. You know what I'm saying? And that can happen.
Sure.
That's his first time being there. But I would say this. I think that the conversations in the meetings tomorrow before all the other coaches come in are going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely will.
Cignetti's not going to put up with that.
And it's a lot more fun to have those conversations after a win, too.
It sure is, and it's salvaged. And I bet you we come out next week with a whole different tune.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
So anyway, good. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Safe trip home.
Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. Wanted to go to a special guest here, Matt Weaver from Peegs.com, who I assume was more than a little bit nervous as you got late in that game. Matt, just your thoughts on what we watched today.
Well, I was more than nervous. When you know how it is, Ken, late in the game, you start texting the other guys on the side about what stories they're doing. Mine were like, offense was poor, defense got pushed around, because it looked like a loss. I mean, yeah. I was ready to write stories about a loss, and next thing you know, they're just pulling out the most improbable win that you could ever imagine. So, it just shows you this was obviously, by far their poorest performance of the season, and really one of the poorest ones since Cignetti's been there. Just never really seemed to be in sync. I kind of heard the tail end of the last call talking about the defense. I was surprised in the second half they didn't blitz a little bit more. I thought it was working in the first half. And I don't know. It just maybe they were just rushing forward, and it just seemed like they were kind of getting picked apart, and they gave that quarterback a lot of. He got in rhythm and some confidence, and I just thought maybe you might send some guys. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's a lot easier to go over the mistakes and the shortcomings when you get that win.
Let's go ahead, just talk about the last drive of the game. Obviously, that Indiana is, let's see, the last drive of the game. Yeah. They start at the 20-yard line. They go the distance for a touchdown. Indiana did not face a third down on that drive until the touchdown pass. And that, to me, is incredibly efficient in a 2-minute drill for you to be able to do that. Your thoughts on just how they executed down the stretch?
Well, yeah, and what's even makes it more amazing is you got sacked on the first play of the drive.
Yeah.
So you were in, I think it was second and almost 2nd, 17 or 18, something like that.
Second and 17 from the 13.
Yeah, you hit a pass. I think it was the Omar Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they spiked the ball, I think, and then I think it was E.J. Williams. But the pass to Nowakowski was an absolute dime.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a perfect – he threw that ball when Nowakowski was still running from behind a defender and put it where he was going to be. And then the throw for the touchdown, like when he got hit and that ball's in the air, I was like, oh, geez, I hope they got something on fourth down. Because when the ball's in the air, I thought there was no way. And listen, Omar Cooper and a lot of these guys, he had a rough day. But man, did he come through at the end when it counted? And that's what big money players come through, or what they do in that time. They come through and make those plays. And just unbelievable. We've been usually Indiana's not in close games against teams like this, but we've seen it before in our time covering this program where they play way above their heads. It looks like they're going to get a huge win, and they crap the bed at the end of the game and lose it. It didn't happen a lot because usually they're losing by a sizable amount,
right.
But man, just unbelievable. Because that was the Penn State team I think people thought you were going to get for most of the year,
mm-hmm.
and Indiana. It's just like there's no way this program ever wins this game in the past. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. At least not in the last 20 or 30 years, and unbelievable. And that drive was, Mendoza just redeemed himself so much. He really had struggled and then just came through and just made play after play after play.
Well, and you mentioned about the offense wasn't very good or struggled a lot, and then they scored 27 points And
Yeah.
that's the thing that I keep coming back to. They made the most of the opportunities that they had. They get some turnovers and bounce back, honestly, too. Once again, after Penn State goes ahead and picks off a pass along the sideline, that they were able to come back and bounce back from that. And the resilience and the grit and the toughness, apparently in the presser right afterwards, the first words that Sig said was refuse to lose. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just their attitude.
They're going. Yeah, and my story last week after Maryland was about mental toughness because they had to face some adversity. They had to pick earlier in the game. You lost Surratt. You were without Fisher. The guy who was going to come in to give him some, Caden Turner goes out after a pick. I mean, but this was a whole different level of mental toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, like that last week was impressive. This was just elite. So I don't think I can write it again, but it was it's. I mean, you could honestly though. I mean, I know they won a lot of blowouts, but I mean, you can write that about this team every week. They're mentally tough every week, and even in a game where they were flat and they just didn't seem to have that kind of mojo that they usually do, for lack of a better word. They still find a way to to get it done. And I agree with your last caller too. I don't think I'd want to be Wisconsin next week.
Yeah. I
think this team is going to be super motivated, even though they won this game and, they're feeling great. I think this week is going to be about, hey, you guys, and Cincinnati, I watched the post game on TV or saw it on my phone, and he said they were lucky to get out of there with the win, and he's right. But you do create your own luck.
Right.
And Indiana created their own luck today, and Penn State cracked the door open for them, and they kicked it open and took advantage.
Well, and being able to do that is really incredibly important as well, and to do it without Elijah Surratt, but you have Charlie Becker who steps up with a huge day, 7 catches for 118 yards. That's exactly what you expected today, right, Matt?
Well, listen, I've always liked Charlie Becker, but if I expected that, then I probably would have done. If there was a prop bet on him, I probably would have put a bunch of money on that prop bet. So. Yeah, so I didn't expect that. But he's a talented guy, and he's going to be a big part of their passing in the next couple of years. And not only, it wasn't just the number of catches and yards. I mean, even on that last drive, he made some huge, like really difficult catches.
Yeah.
Like high being contested and well covered, and he goes up but that's why he's got good size. He's a good athlete, great ball skills, and he showed it. And obviously, you love to have Surratt out there because he's so good. But it's nice that, and that's what you have to have. And I mean, let's be honest, without Charlie Becker, you don't win this game today.
No,
you really don't, because he made some huge catches. And even though he might not have, I don't think he had any touchdowns, but he made some plays that put them in a position to, obviously on the last drive and some other drives, to give them a chance to score points. So, but yeah, that's what a great moment for that. I mean, to have that kind of game in that venue is pretty awesome.
We're talking to Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. And Matt, this is an Indiana team now that sits at 10-0, has a very clear path to 12-0 on the season. And this, to me, was their biggest, I understand Penn State in the season that they've had, but this was their biggest obstacle to getting to the Big Ten championship game. And they win it on the road in incredible fashion. But like you said, next week, they got to take on Wisconsin, and they're going to look to bounce back from this win with a better opportunity to show off against Wisconsin. And to me, this is the kind of game, all those people that are waiting for, hey, is Indiana for real? If they haven't been convinced yet, this game gives them a little bit of ammunition, because they could say, well, hey, Penn State lost to Northwestern, lost to UCLA, lost 5 straight, and Indiana had to eke it out. So, maybe they don't deserve the attention they got. To me, all of that is even more motivation for the Hoosiers to step on next for the next couple of games and when they get to the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing about this game is, while it's fun to win 55-10 and 56-6 and whatever all season, when you get in the playoff, you're not probably playing those kind of games. And you're going to be playing these games like today. Now, it may not be like exactly today where you're driving down and you make incredible plays, but where you have to, it's a one-score game, and you got to go down and either get a score at the end of the game to win it, or hold the other team, from scoring to win the game. I mean, that's what it's going to be like in the playoff. At least that's what you hope, because you're going to be going up against such great teams. But that's why I say sometimes these games, like the Iowa game, I said after the Iowa game, sometimes those, while they're nerve wracking, and I'm sure fans would rather have a blowout, these are the kind of games that are kind of good for you when you're trying to get to where Indiana wants to go, because you can lean on these situations going forward, especially in the playoff and when you play really, really good teams. Hey, we've been there. There's no reason to panic. We can do this. Obviously, you'd like to get off to a better, you got off to a decent start, had a halftime lead, and it looked like you had a chance to take control of it and just kind of let it slip away. But just to have this kind of experience, I think, is huge. And while, this wasn't, they didn't cover, it was 14.5 or whatever it was.
Right.
Listen, Penn State's talented. I said all week, I thought Indiana would win. I think I predicted 35-17 or something. But I also said this is a game that if Indiana is flat and they're not ready to play, Penn State can beat them, and they proved it. They got talented guys. They got NFL guys all over that that roster. They got dudes, and they've got sidetracked, and everything's kind of just imploded on them. But if they put it together, they can beat anybody in the Big Ten, and they showed that today.
Well, Matt, I certainly appreciate all the insight. I know you got a lot of work to do to cover this game, so I appreciate the call and look forward to seeing what you have to say on the game on the site.
Okay, thanks, Ken. See you next week.
Appreciate it. 812-393-2600 is the number. We have 3 callers in the queue, so I'm going to run right through these. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Rob from Greenwood. What's up, baby?
Rob from Greenwood. How are you doing?
Dude, hey, where are you at? We're in Happy Valley right now, and we are celebrating like crazy. Where are you at?
I'm in Ellettsville, Indiana, in my house.
Hey, so how did that look? How did that look? How did that look on the TV?
Well, I'm a little bit jealous of you because if you were at the game and you were watching it there, that means you didn't have to listen to Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson. And so I'm very happy about that. I'm happy for you about that because I wasn't real thrilled with them. But I will say this. This is an IU team that has shown time and time again that it deserves everything that it has. And to be able to win that ball game in the manner that they did on the road is really, really incredible. What did you hear from Penn State fans? If you were at the game, what did you hear from Penn State fans in the closing moments?
Hey, I'll say this. I've been to some venues before, and Penn State people are amazing.
Good.
But the number one thing, it was either I hope IU wins it all or beat Ohio State, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we all have a common goal. And the people here are beautiful. Happy Valley is beautiful. But you know what? The Hoosiers just came in and won a big game that they've never been able to do. And that, Ken, I need a Rabby story right now.
I've been told that you're going to ask me this every single time, and a Rabby story for you right now is that I think he's out there as well. So enjoy.
No, he's not. He told me. He told me. I saw him. I talked to him at the basketball game.
He's going to basketball. Going to basketball. That's right. So I'll have to serve some up and figure it out.
Hey, can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
Rabby said that you texted him and said there was some weird dude calling from Greenwood all the time named Rob. Was that true?
No, but I did talk to him about substituting some of stories of another guy that covers IU that has crazy stories, some George stories I could do, but he called it Rabby.
Hey, Ken, I'll tell you, the scene here at Happy Valley is amazing. It is amazing. I'm just talking at this point. Beautiful day for football and a beautiful day to be a Hoosier, my man. It was a great, great day.
Well, Rob, I appreciate the call, and I'm going to try to load up a couple of Rabby stories for you for next time you call.
Hey, do it, man. I appreciate you. I love it. I love the show, and let's go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers. Thanks so much. 812-393-2300 is the number. Got a caller who's been waiting on the line for 5 minutes. Caller, if I can have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Reed from Atlanta. Intern Charlie's intern. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, great. It's good to talk to you.
Is your heart back to a normal level right now? Because mine finally has calmed down.
No, it's not. We're my wife and I are actually in Key West, Florida, so we're reporting.
That's my favorite place on the planet.
It's beautiful, beautiful. 2 observations on this game. The first one was my wife's, and when they came out at the beginning of the game and the reporter said, Indiana's never won here at Happy Valley, and Coach Signetti said, this team's never played here.
Yep.
I thought that was awesome. That's the mentality you got to have, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I say all the time, that the history is great for the media and fans, but it doesn't mean anything to the players once the ball's kicked.
That's right. That's right. Independent, mutually independent, exclusive, or mutually independent events, right?
Yep.
Statistics. The other one was, I thought those last two drives, that drive with about 4 minutes to go for Mendoza, I thought that was, I looked at my wife, I said, that's the Heisman Mendoza drive, and we failed, but we got the ball back with whatever, a minute and a half left, and I was like, this is the Heisman Mendoza drive, and there it was. Nailed it. Omar Cooper for the touchdown.
Cooper, and just all the efficiency. I was telling, looking over it and talking to Matt Weaver on the call before, and Indiana only faced third down on the last play. On the touchdown play was the only third down that they faced on that drive. That started at the 20, got knocked back to the 13, and then went the distance, and they faced third down only on the touchdown play.
It was amazing, wasn't it? What a great year. I love it, love it, love it.
Well, I appreciate the call. Get yourself over to Captain Tony's and have a drink over there in honor of it, just to make my heart feel good.
You bet. We'll do it. You have a great weekend. See you, Ken.
Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. Got one more caller I'll run to, and then we will talk over what's going on the chat. I'm also hoping to get some audio from Kurt Signetti if it shows up. But next caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, this is Megan from Indianapolis.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I mean, I'm really good right now. I mean, who isn't right now? Silly question, but okay. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
A question and then a comment. First, the comment. You can't stop talking about that Cooper catch, but it was such a close game. There were a lot of plays during that game. There weren't that many great plays, but there were a couple other ones that were huge plays in retrospect, like the fumble recovery just before halftime,
Sure.
which we got a touchdown. So let's not forget about that play. Which, without that, who knows? Who knows if we would have had as big of a lead, and ended up winning the game. So let's make sure not to forget that one. My question, though, was about the squib kick at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy has the leg to kick it out of the end zone, right? Why would they have gone with an offside kick?
Here's what I thought. Here's what I thought was interesting about that is, we got to hear from Sig, and I obviously haven't heard his post-game press conference yet. But they squib it, and I guess you squib it because you're worried about him kicking it out of bounds. But if you kick it out of bounds, it's the same thing. You get the same field position. So I was a little surprised that they didn't kick it deep as well. I don't know if they wanted to get a couple extra seconds off. I don't know. I haven't heard an explanation, but that one was a head scratcher because what it did is it gave them the ball in much better position to go ahead and get into field goal range. Yeah, I understand that you wanted to trust your defense, but it just felt to me like that was a situation where you kick it deep, or if you do try to squib it, you don't kick it at people. But I'd have kicked it deep. That's me, and so that one was a head scratcher for me as well.
Yeah, it's just so unpredictable. It takes a weird bounce, bounces into someone's hands. They run to field goal range. I mean, it's just a head scratcher. And luckily, we don't have to worry about it. On the play. Oh, I did calculate something interesting during the game. IU has only trailed for 27 minutes all season.
Oh, nice. That's interesting.
And have to add about three now. So we've trailed about 30 minutes all season.
I know that this is the first game all season which Indiana has given up more than one touchdown.
Oh, really? Okay.
First Big Ten game this season that Indiana's given up more than one touchdown. They gave up 3. So going into this game, they had only given up 7 total offensive touchdowns. And this time, this game they gave up 3. But they also scored 27 points and managed to find a way to win at Penn State. And so
all that matters.
That toughness is important. And when you got a little bit farther into the game, it really did come down to just win the damn game. Because you have such an opportunity ahead of you when you're talking about Wisconsin and Purdue to have a truly, last year was special. Last year was the best season in IU football history. This one's shaping up to be even better, which is incredible. I
agree. We're going to be 12-0. Let's go.
That's it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Appreciate it. 812-393-2600 is the number. Let's get through some of these comments on the chat. Chris Perkins. There you go. Chris Perkins That's I believe that's Rob Lowe's character from Parks and Rec. We have 4 weeks to get healthy. Do you believe that a healthy IU plays much better against OSU in the Big Ten championship, assuming they get there? I mean, it makes a difference to have Elijah Surratt there, to have guys that are going to be able to just be healthier, just get a little bit of time. So, yeah, you still have to play better along the offensive line. You still have to deal with the speed of Ohio State. And there's a reason Ohio State is what they are. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. That's the one game where it's like, okay, Indiana's really going to have to play special. But think about these little check boxes that have been ticked off along the way. You're talking about Indiana. You have to beat Michigan. You have to beat Penn State on the road. You have to beat a top 5 team on the road. They've done all of that. Ohio State is the one thing that they haven't done. Win a bowl game. That is one of them as well. But obviously, it wasn't a normal bowl game because of it being at Notre Dame last year. Indiana has absolutely set itself up to run the table during the regular season, battle for the Big Ten championship, and win or lose that game, probably get a bye in the college football playoffs. As it stands right now, they would. They've checked a lot of boxes, and so having that time to get healthy and be ready to take on a team like Ohio State is that next box to check. Lines are open if you want to give us a call and give me your thoughts on Indiana's win, 27-24 at Penn State. Just been an absolute incredible afternoon. Omar Cooper with a legendary catch, an absolutely legendary catch. Maybe the catch of the year, given where it was, what it meant in the game and the time of the game and all of that. That's really important. Shell Cracker Lover says Indiana needs Surratt and Evans back to beat Ohio State. Don't disagree with that. Charlie Becker had a hell of a game. Yes, he did. Becker's a Sunday player, period. We're going to need more to see with that to get to that point, but it was a special game to say the least. And the last drive, Kyle Miller says that last drive was a stuff of legends. Refused to lose, was spot on. Have a great night, IU fans. And yeah, I mean, it's just everything about what we saw in this game was truly, truly special. And, you know, for all you people who have complained the past couple of weeks about, well, IU watching IU is getting a little bit boring because they're blowing teams out. Hope you got your fill this week, because they certainly made it very, very interesting. And it's all of this stuff is you know, it's fun to watch and fun to see Indiana be successful. It's also a ton of fun to just shake off the scar tissue from all the years of Indiana coming up short time and time again. Yes, comment on the chat says lots of teaching moments for both the players and the staff. Absolutely. And this game is great from an experience standpoint. Close game, on the road, under 2 minutes. You need that time. If you think for a second that each one of these experiences don't build on themselves, you're wrong. Because today's drive in the final minute was built on the foundation of Indiana coming through on the road at Oregon, coming through on the road at Iowa, coming through on the road at Michigan State last year. All these things stack on one another to where you can go ahead and go into these drives with a ton of confidence. And to me, that's something that cannot possibly be overlooked. 812-393-2600 is the number. The way forward now, to me, is incredibly interesting because, again, you have Wisconsin next week. You have Purdue the week after that. Both of those games should be relatively easy victories. And we've said this before, too, that, you know, these games that Indiana plays, Kurt Cignetti does a great job at just finding something that is going to make it so that they can always be focused from week to week. And I do feel like Indiana felt a little bit of the pressure of playing on the road at Penn State today, especially when that lead started to dwindle. You had a rare mistake by Fernando Mendoza in throwing the pick. He just didn't see a guy, and it was a hell of a pick by the DB on that. I thought Mendoza at times didn't maybe see a blitzer coming when he should have, but when he had the time, and when it was time to make a play, he did it, and did it at an incredible level. Somebody else that we need to talk about is Nico Radic, and that kid. He kicks a couple of field goals, one from 28, one from 31, neither one of them long. But in a pressure situation on the road, you need that. Same thing with the extra points. The kid's been dependable, and he deserves a little bit of credit for that along the way. 812-393-2600 is the number. Ohio State beat Purdue 34-10 earlier today, so they stay unbeaten. Indiana is going to stay at number 2 in the country. Washington's going to take on Wisconsin later today. Wisconsin sits currently at 2-6 and 0-5 in the Big Ten. Obviously, if you're listening on the podcast recording, you're going to know the outcomes of those games already. But this is an impressive outing. And then you look at Maryland. Okay, Maryland is down 21-17 at halftime against Rutgers right now. The Maryland team that Indiana just absolutely whipped the hell out of last week. Indiana is beating the teams they're supposed to beat in a big way. And then the teams that they need to beat that present more of a challenge, whether it be because of talent, whether it be because of whatever it is that, a history, a tradition, whatever it is, they're doing it. I'm talking about Oregon. I'm talking about Penn State. Obviously, Ohio State is the next challenge should Indiana win out, and every indication is that they're going to be able to. All of these are checking off boxes and gives you more reason to believe every time out. Hoping again to get some press conference coverage from Curt Cignetti. So I'm hoping that that's something that will come up sometime soon. Some post-game, and I guess we came right on the air, so I didn't see his interview on the field, but apparently he choked up a little bit with saying that he'd never seen anything like it. And when you talk about Curt Cignetti, at some point you should take a couple of seconds to appreciate where he's been as a coach. IU Pennsylvania, Elon, James Madison. These are not power schools. And now he goes into Penn State, the first time that he's there, goes ahead and just takes care of business. It's not an ass kicking or anything like that, but he wins. He wins, plain and simple. We got a caller. Caller, if I could have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken. This is Adrian from Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, Adrian. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'll say again, I called you once way back a little bit, but I just appreciate you doing. Well, I just appreciate you doing these, and my heart rate finally. I looked at my heart rate when you threw that touchdown. And it went to 181. So it's now come back down into the 60s, which is good. But I tell you, and I know we can talk a lot about some issues and stuff. I just thought, as far as particulars go, I think, they came into this game. I think, I think they had a good plan. I think they got punched in the mouth a little bit, and I think they looked tired to me a little bit. And I'll tell you, and I say that, but at the end of the day, the defense looked tired. But man, I mean, they just made one more play. And the offense just made one more play. It's I think I was telling my wife here. I think I've gotten so used to blowouts that it makes me incredibly uncomfortable watching a close game. and I still don't feel comfortable. But I tell you, I don't really know what to think going forward as far as, when you have doubts and you're down 4 points or whatever. I mean, I don't think that was a coaching call. I don't think that was a play call. I think those guys just went out there and made a play. And I think they have good coaches. We can kind of argue some. We were curious on some play calling, maybe some conservativeness, but I also think that, they were really he was getting hit quite a bit, and I think I don't really know how much time he was going to have. But at the end of the day, coaching good, but I felt like players made some plays in this game.
Oh,
it seems
for
like
sure.
Coaching and schematics, like Charlie Becker, and he's from Nashville, evidently. I didn't know that, but just the fact that this seemed to be a game where players made plays versus the coaching and schematics and putting the players in position. Sometimes they just willed themselves to do it, and that to me just they're multifaceted, so they can do it from coaching, and these guys just stepped up. And I'll let you go. I appreciate it, but I'm just so excited. But I'll let you talk about that, and I'll listen off air.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, it comes down to culture at some point too. And, guys make plays, and that when guys are making plays, that becomes contagious. And you build this culture where it is next man up. So, hey, Surratt's not going to be able to go. Okay, Charlie, it's your time to go. And Charlie Becker goes out there and makes a ton of plays and puts together a special day. Omar Cooper doesn't have a big day. I mean, his numbers on the day, Cooper, 6 catches for 32 yards. He was targeted 9 times. He does great in the open field. His yards after catch on the day are a total of 9. 6 catches for 32 yards, but you're going to remember that catch that he made at the back of the end zone for a long time. And let's not overlook this. Part of that is luck. Part of that is luck. If one foot comes down, in first, his right foot comes down first, that's not a catch. But instead he was hit, and so it kind of knocked his foot, and he was lucky enough to get that foot down. Some of it's luck, but it's skill and athleticism, and sometimes players have to make plays, and this seems like it is only going to get, better, because as talented as these guys are, as hungry as these guys are, they aren't necessarily the guys that are elite level athletes all the way through. Not saying that they're not bad, but Penn State has better athletes, period. Indiana has better players, and they showed that today. So that to me is something that we can't overlook. Got another caller here. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Yeah, this is Alan, Happy Valley Live. I mean, people don't understand the experience that this has been, trying to talk to folks left and right. They don't know how we feel. Honestly, I don't know how I feel, but it feels good. How do we feel about the rest of the way out here? We got a clean house. It won't look good going into the Big Ten championship with a loss, but it sounds like we're locked in.
Yeah, I would be really surprised with Indiana. The fact that the way that they played today wasn't their best. But when you could play not your best on the road, score 27 points, and still win, I think that's important. Now, to me, each one of these games makes sure that nobody gets too high, nobody gets too big ahead. You have Wisconsin. Sig does a great job of keeping everybody grounded, and to me, that is going to be the key, because the next 2 games should be comfortable wins for IU, but you have to go out there and play the game. And that's something that Sig is going to make sure that him and his coaches make it very clear to these guys that they were lucky to escape from Penn State. They will. He said that in the post game. I haven't seen all the video yet, but I've picked up some things on Twitter about him saying it was lucky. And sometimes luck is as important as anything else.
Yeah, it's like, how much do we have to pinch ourselves today? I mean, is this real? Is this really real, Ken?
It is at this point. I mean, you can't help but believe that it is. So,
God bless. Nice to be in God's country for a day like today. You know what I mean?
Yep. Glad that you enjoyed the game. All right. He's gone. That's happened. Okay. 812-393-2600. The lines are open. Trying to see if I can't find some video here of of Kurt Signetti. Might be able to do just that. Yeah, let's do that. Here it is.
Super proud of our team and our players. Refused to lose in the bleakest, most dire moments when it looked impossible. On the 2-yard line with no timeouts, barely a minute to go, and haven't done anything offensively in quite a while. And the quarterback's been taking a lot of shots. To all of a sudden start making plays like we made, incredible plays, and score at the end like that. And it's a game of inches. It truly is. And the team refused to lose. And proud of this football team. Now, take tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of things we won't be proud of. But Penn State's a good football team. And, maybe they found their quarterback too. A guy that can lead them to more wins the rest of the season here. But it was the most improbable victory I've ever been a part of. And there couldn't have been a better place to make it happen.
Nielsen sessions. Kurt mentioned the offense kind of struggling throughout the game. What did you tell him before that final drive, and what was the key to kind of flip things around?
At that point, I didn't tell him anything. I was kind of coaching Mike up. Not Coach Mike doesn't need a lot of coaching, but just giving him, what I thought, that we need to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly, get him in rhythm. And we were able to do that on some of those 4 vertical routes in the seams. And so Mike did a great job. Fernando was just getting, hit time after time after time. And, never gave in. And got his composure back and made the plays at the end.
Seth and Sammy.
Obviously, you were out without Elijah Surratt today and had some huge plays on that last drive by multiple receivers. Just how big was your receiving core today?
They were huge on that last one. Charlie Becker caught the post early in the game too, because this is a team that will double cover your receivers once in a while, and they were going one-on-one on Becker. And Charlie made some fantastic plays. He's taken advantage of his opportunities this year. Look, we left a lot of plays out on the field today in the past game. I guarantee you that. But we'll fix that tomorrow best we can. And but I'm glad Becker and Cooper when we need it.
Sammy and Daniel.
Coach, after taking the 27 lead in the second half, what was the issue that bogged you down on offense?
I think we were getting whipped up front, and the quarterback got off rhythm, and probably, need a little better eye control and discipline in terms of his reads and processing. But it's hard to play quarterback when you don't have very good protection. You got to keep the quarterback on rhythm, and that ball's coming out quick out of his hand. When you do that, good things happen, and when you hold the ball, bad things happen, and that's what happened.
Daniel in front of Zach.
Yeah. When you say just how low the odds were of you guys winning, the fact you guys rallied at the end there late, what does that show about how your team is wired?
The best thing I can say is we refused to lose. We had that one last big run left in us when probably most people had counted us. I guarantee you when Fernando got sacked on first down, how many people in this room counted us out? Right? So, great drive.
Zach and Joe.
Why is it that you are counting Fernando out? What is it about him in the offense that you are counting him out in that game?
I'm just trying to coach to the circumstances of the game best I can. Use the timeouts right and give us the best chance. And then at the end, the players got to make the plays on the field. But I think, we were able to complete some passes where things that he did really well, that we had not done much early in the game, that were all of a sudden open. And and the kids made it happen. Cooper and Becker with 2 great catches.
Joe, on your left, and Jerry.
What were the moments like with the review on Omar's touchdown? And in the moment it's called touchdown, just what were the emotions?
At that point, you're just getting the next call ready. And what hash is ball going to be on, which took a while to get an answer to. But I thought the officials were great. You're getting ready in case it doesn't go your way all the time on a review. And then when we found touchdown, it's okay. Let's get the extra point team on the field. Didn't really love what happened on the kickoff. Gave him really good field position there. but in the end, the defense found a way, and so the most improbable victory.
Jared, right front in this.
After you guys went down, did you see anything on the players' faces, or was there anything said between the players that you could tell that they were going to find a way here?
I mean, things started to go against us a little bit. And, the only thing I said to a lot of the guys were, we're going to find out what we're made of. But that was probably a series and a half or so before the last drive. And come that last drive, you ain't got time to talk to them. You got the ball. This is the deal. We've been in a lot of 2-minute situations. Just flash back in my mind a little bit of similar situations in fall camp that we were in where we scored touchdowns, and this one's no different, and all of a sudden we start making those plays, and you know how it is when all of a sudden you're making those plays like anything's possible, and it was.
Yes, and then we'll wrap with Pat.
Kurt, you coached receivers before that. At the back of the end zone, Omar Cooper's catch itself, the difficulty level, how was he able to kind of do that?
I got to see it again on tape and TV, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a great catch. And to keep that toe in bounds, you got to be a real special player to do that.
Matt, last one.
There's 2 games left. I think he made his case today, but what's your case for Fernando to win the Heisman?
I don't really think about that. We're trying to develop him to become the best player he can be.
I turned one of my mics on. I turned the other one on. Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry. So there are 2 mute buttons on here. I got one on my my streaming stuff and one on my mic. Sorry about that, everybody, that I was on mute there for a second. What I was saying was I really would like it if there was a better setup for road press conferences, because that was not my favorite. I was in a tent. There was another game earlier this year. Indiana was in a tent, and it doesn't make for a very comfortable situation, but I guess they don't really care. 812-393-2600 is the number. Last call for phone calls. Lines are open, too, so you give me a call. Look, hell, I'll stay on the air and talk to you guys the rest of the night if you keep calling. So it's really up to you. But on the chat, Andy Max says, do we rest our starters over either of the next 2 games? That's just kind of not how Curt Cignetti rolls. That's just not what he does, and I would be really surprised if that was the case, if he did it that way, because that's really not something that he tends to do. So, that is something that is, we'll see. But I don't think so. I think you want to finish out the season. Yeah, you don't want anybody getting hurt, but you also want to finish out the season as strong as you can, because I think that is really important. Got a caller? Caller, if I got your name, where you're from, and what you got.
This is Ryan from Bloomington. Ken, how are you doing?
Hey, Ryan, how are you doing?
I am pumped up, man. What a win. I mean, what a win. That is gutsy right there. That's the type of fight that'll win you Big Ten championships, win you national championships right there, man.
It really is.
Charlie Becker. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Charlie Becker, Omar Cooper. I mean, Heisman dozer right there, dude. I mean, talk about, it's just like the Oregon game, goes and makes a big mistake, but he's able to come right back, score a touchdown, and put the team on his back there, man. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, and just the emotions of it all, to where you're up 20-7, and then you go down 24-20. It looks really disappointing. You get sacked on first down, and all of a sudden now you're facing 2nd and 17 from your own 13-yard line. There's 90, 100,000 people around you. I know that Charlie the intern was on pins and needles over here. I'm generally dead inside with these things, but my heart was beating real hard as well, and they found a way to come back and grit it out. Ryan, I've talked, I've mentioned this a couple of times on here, but it's really incredible to me that on that final drive, Indiana goes a total of 80 yards, but at one point was 87 yards away. They did not face third down on that final drive until the touchdown pass. And to me, that is incredible efficiency moving down the field.
It sure is, man. I mean, I was on social media after the game. I was looking at stuff, and people were saying, Mendoza there, how does that help his Heisman candidacy? And people pointing to, that's a bad pick there. That really turns the game around. It sure is. But you know what? I don't know that we've ever seen a quarterback like this at Indiana that's been able to, come in here and when it really matters, man. I mean that's got to be the drive of the year. People were saying on the broadcast, catch of the year, all that. I mean, it is just so crucial to have plays like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't have any words for it, man.
And for what we saw from Curtis Rourke last year, I mean, he was incredibly efficient as a quarterback, but he didn't have the mobility, even before the knee injury. He didn't have the mobility that Mendoza does. And look, he runs a QB blast from 18 yards out and scores a touchdown in the first half, and that's just all built off of his quickness and mobility. And it's not like he's Usain Bolt, but he's fast enough, and that really gives a different element to his game that just makes him difficult to contain.
Sure does, man. Well, I gotta go. I'm gonna get some Chipotle, celebrate, go watch some more football. But go Hoosiers, dude! This is just, it's exciting. I mean, we're going all the way.
I appreciate the call. Thanks so much, Ryan.
All right. See you, Ken.
Whew. What a game. What a game. Interesting, by the way, that Curt Cignetti said in the post game that he'd like to see the kickoff result be a little bit different, which makes me think that squib may not have been what they were shooting for, or that it definitely wasn't executed correctly. We'll have to clear that up on Monday because the follow-up question of what were you hoping to get on that play wasn't asked. But I'll do my best to get that in on Monday if I can. RBO Sprint on the chat says, got the IU flag flying tall and proud down here in Southern Kentucky, as well it should. Your Hoosiers are 10-0 on the season. They are the number 2 team in the country and will remain the number 2 team in the country. Nothing is going to change when it comes to the college football playoff standings. Still just absolutely incredible that we are at a point where there's Indiana is number 2 in the college football standings and nobody can argue with it. Just so far from where we are. Let's see. Indiana started last season 10-0 and then lost to Ohio State. So this is the second time in program history they've been 10-0. They have the opportunity to go 11-0 for the first time in history next week, and by all rights should. And Purdue, the path is very, very clearly there to not only win out, but also get a bye in the first round of college football playoff games. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be incredibly exciting. A little program note about next. Tusker says he's got a flag flying in Sacramento. Good for him. Going to do a call-in show after tomorrow's IU Marquette basketball game. That one tips off at 1 o'clock. So probably end up going live 1 o'clock Eastern. Probably go live about that's probably about 3:15 Eastern time, 3:30. Game's televised on ESPN, so there's some challenges I know that go into watching games on ESPN for right now. But looking forward to that. So just a program note, we are doing a call-in show tomorrow after that basketball game. But just really exciting day for IU football to get a absolutely critical win in an absolutely critical way. And to do it again in a way that they left so much on the field. They overcame a ton of mistakes to win a ball game by making plays. And they did it, and they will grow from it. 27-24 is your final from Happy Valley. So get that monkey off their back. They've won at Penn State. And now that, next up is Wisconsin. And Kurt Signetti is going to make sure everybody is on the same page as the Hoosiers continue their quest to go 12-0. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening. I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time. But for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody. Go Hoosiers.